This is going to be a brief walkthrough using the Wave tool by WebAIM. WebAIM probably has much greater resources around the Wave tool than I'm ever going to come up with, but this is, of course, an introductory course. So I'm going to run the Wave tool that we previously installed, and I'm going to walk through the same website we've been using, this mock-up Accessible University site where you can toggle on an after and a before, with the after being the accessible version and the before being the inaccessible version. I'm going to click the before for this site. It's going to toggle on a version that has some built-in accessibility issues, and then I'll turn on the Wave tool that I've got as a Chrome extension. And this can sometimes be a bit overwhelming when you first bring it up. You'll see quite a number of icons showing. Off to the left-hand side is a column where you can see like a summary of what it's found. You can choose this reference page, the details page, and you could look at the structure, for example, and see, in this case, they're showing navigation, main, and footer. And then for the details pane, you can toggle these various items off and on. So if you're seeing too much on the screen, there are some pages where it's just completely covered in icons. You can click, for example, on where it says 11 alerts here and toggle that off, and they're no longer appearing on the screen, and then you can toggle them back on. But for each of these that they find that are problematic, you can either click on the particular item on the left-hand side in the details pane, and it'll focus on that item. And then the really useful thing with these, wherever you see one of these icons, you can click on it and it gives you two choices. It will show you what the problem is, and it'll show you the code, and you can see the code that causes this issue, and then you can see a reference, and the reference provides you information about what's wrong with this particular issue on this website and what could be done with this, what to do, how you could change the structure of your HTML to make it accessible. I'm going to scroll down. I know the table in the inaccessible version should have some problems. I'll click on that. It shows that it's a layout table, which means that it's being used primarily to present information in a grid on the web page, but it's not a data table. So every one of these cells on this table in the inaccessible version would just be read aloud to a screen reader user with the data, with no association between the row headers or the column headers. You can click on the code. You can see what the code is for this table. You can look at the reference, and the reference will tell you why a layout table is problematic for users of assistive technology. And then I'm going to scroll down, look at a few other things. We knew in the inaccessible version that there were these text entry fields that didn't have proper labeling. So even though sighted people can see name right before the text edit field and email before this next one down, a screen reader user landing on these wouldn't know the text edit field wanted you to put in your name and which ones were required if it's not properly labeled. So in this case, I'm going to click on this one. It says missing form label. Again, the code will show me down below here what the code is for that particular text entry field, and the reference will let me see off to the left-hand side what the problem is with having a form field, text edit field, that does not have a proper label. So that is the main way you use this tool. You can go to the contrast tool, and as I mentioned in the color contrast analyzer section of this course, you can look in here and pick particular things that have contrast issues, and they'll show you just where it is that these exist. In our case, on this page, it's up in this upper menu where this drop-down menus. The text is too faint in contrast to that grayish background, and you can either click in this icon on the superimposed on the web page and see the low contrast ratio, 2.52 to 1, should be 4.5 to 1. You can see what the code is. It probably will just show you things about how this page was set up. It might not actually show you the details of the color schemes they used. The reference page, again, will take you back to things that you can do, striving for 4.5 to 1, and some of those ratios change if the fonts are larger, as it shows here, larger than 18 points or 14 point bold. So this is a useful tool. You might find a couple of things in the detail page where they appear as faint icons, and oftentimes that's content that might be hidden based on the structure of the page. You can use this styles page and turn off the styles. And then suddenly all of these appear as being available that you could go and look at where those instances are. And in this case, this has got a carousel of, I think, 3 different tabs or 4 different tabs for images. And those are detected by the tool, but they're hidden because they haven't been currently selected. If I picked one of these, it's showing the first of the 4 images. And if I click this one, it's finding this other image that was the capture. But the other 3 images in that carousel are currently hidden until you turn on this tool to turn off the styles. Then you can go and find those. It reveals them for you. And that is the main gist of it. We'll now go with the wave tool. I'll go ahead and turn the wave tool on. One fortunate thing with the wave tool is that it seems to be able to go and analyze most websites. Sometimes the Andy tool does not, and you have to use another tool, which I'll discuss in another chapter. So now I'm going to work my way up to the After button to bring up the accessible version of this website. And then I'll turn on the wave tool again. And it's showing 0 errors, and then it's showing a few things you might want to watch for. These alerts are ones that you might need to check. Like if it finds a video, it might have you check manually to see if it has captions, or an audio file, it might have you check to see if there's a transcript provided. And then in the case of a low contrast, it might ask you to run a manual color contrast check on it. But now you'll see that most things have ARIA, and they aren't being called out as being problematic. We have the language denoted for the HTML page and a number of other things. It's got the skip to main content. So it's got a number of features that have been done to make this accessible. It's made the security question accessible versus the CAPTCHA that wasn't. And it's got the table properly marked up. If we click on this table, it will show us that it's a data table. It's not calling it out as a problem. The reference would tell us what's needed for a good reference table.